Welcome back to Superstar Glam. In today's video, I am bringing you my honest review on the new BH Ultimate Matte 42 eyeshadow palette. I show you a demo of me creating this look, and then I give you my final thoughts on whether or not I recommend it and think that you should pick it up or not. I'm going to include swatches on this palette. But before we jump into the video, if you haven't subscribed, then what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that little button down below and become part of the Superstar Glam Squad family. Go ahead and also click that little notification bell to alert you anytime that I upload a video. And now if you're interested on this demo and my opinion on this palette, then just keep watching. So I'm going to be priming my eyes as per usual with the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. As per usual, I don't know what I'm doing, like what type of look I'm doing. So I'm going to go in with this yellow shade and use this as like a transition color. So it really doesn't have to be perfect. There's definitely fallout when you pick up and swirl the brush. And I've mentioned before that for me, that's not a bad thing, as long as the colors perform well, that they're pigmented, that they're not patchy. So it's definitely buildable, and since it's like more of like a muted color, it's not like a bright yellow. I'm gonna go in with a bigger fluffy brush, and I'm gonna take that corner shade, like that really creamy like vanilla shade, so it's not really white but it's really light. I love those colors like for the brow bone, so I'm putting it there, but I'm also helping blend the two colors. Okay, the next color I'm gonna take is that like orange, like it's like a light orange, just bringing it to the crease to add some dimension. Okay, so far just with those two colors, I am seeing like the consistency from the original Studio Pro, the Ultimate Artistry palette, that I was totally impressed with how well shadows would blend out and lay on top of each other, and these are performing just as good as the other ones. Like there's not much work. You go in with tapping motions and then go in with some blending, and it's like effortlessly. There's no patchiness, there's not like a harsh line. And then also, since they are really pigmented, that's why I'm getting a lot of kickoff, because I'm kind of like swirling typically I'm used to swirling the brush in the product to get as much pigment on my brush to apply to my eye. But because these are so pigmented, all I have to do is this. I just have to tap and then I get instant pigment on my brush. Of course, I'm going to tap off for excess, and then again just applying it, and that's all really what you need. I'm going to take another fluffy brush and take that yellow shade and help blend out the edges. I love how I can instantly tell if it's going to go, well, so far the colors I've been using, if it's going to go well, easy, or if it's going to be a little more complicated and having to pull tricks out of a hat just to make shadows work. So with this one, It's easy peasy. I don't know if you can tell with like the lighting and how far I am from the camera, but there is definitely definition in the two colors. They're very similar, and usually colors like that will just blend together, mush, and become like one color. And not this one. This one, you can definitely see a radiant effect from the lightest shade from the brow bone to that yellowish shade to like that orangey shade. And I love that, and that's what I'm saying. And it didn't really take a lot of work to get that effect. I'm gonna take this like lighter orange shade. I'm just gonna see how this works. Again, I'm just using these colors currently for dimension. It made that second shade more like vibrant orange. I'm gonna apply a smaller tapered fluffy brush, and I'm gonna mix this color with this other color, so they're pretty similar. One looks more reddish orange and the other one looks more like yellow orange, but they're pretty similar. Now going in with an even deeper orangey brown. I'm gonna take a pencil brush and just for kicks, I'm gonna go in with that like raspberry shade or maybe magenta, and I'm gonna apply it here again on the crease. I'm gonna add a little bit more dimension. I'm gonna go in with this brown, the same fluffy brush. I'm applying the most pigment right on the lid, and then in circular motions bringing the rest to the crease area. That seemed to be like the deepest brown. If I had to give like say anything negative, I would say that maybe it was missing that like true chocolatey mocha brown, because the next option for me to like deepen like the lash line would be black, and I didn't want to go with black. I'm gonna mix black with a brown and kind of bring it to the lash line to kind of smudge it. Normally when I do this, like it's like a very few palettes that I can say that have this ease with their shadows in terms of blendability and working together. Like after all of the work that I have done, especially with starting from the lightest, which was the yellow, and then transitioning to the deepest shade on the lid, since the last color I applied was all deep and I kind of blended it out upward, at this point, once I finished the lash line, I would have had to have gone back with a blending brush or a detail brush and reapplied every single color so that it shows and appears and still get that gradient effect. Now with this one, with this palette, and like even the Ultimate Artistry palette, both of them have that ease where it doesn't matter how many layers you've applied, it still shows up even after you blend it out. It just makes it appear more airbrushed, but yet you can still see every single layer that I applied. I could still see the yellow, I could still see that orange, that pinky shade, but it's all just blending out. And this is why I rave about the BH palette, because of that, because of how effortlessly, like all I have to do is just add a wing, finish the bottom lash line, and that's it. I'm gonna finish the rest and then I'll come back to do the bottom lash line on camera, and then that will be it. So I'm gonna take a combo of the brown and the black to the lower lash line, right in the outer corner, just in the outer third. I'm taking that like raspberry shade and I'm going to apply, connect it with that dark shade, and then bring it to the rest of the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the light orange shade and buff it right underneath. Help blend the edges. And then with a different shader brush, I'm going to bring a tiny bit of that yellow just to help tie everything together. Now going back with that MAC 217, I'm just going to buff the edges. Just taking that pencil brush and just blending out that black with that raspberry, making sure it's blended out. There's a lilac shade and I'm thinking about putting that in the inner corner. Let's see how that looks as a matte shade. Oh, I like it. It's soft. Oh, and I did, I couldn't help myself, and once I did the wing liner, I wanted to try this out. It's from Catrice. It's called the Rock Couture Liquid Liner. It's called Guns and Rose Gold. So it's just like a sparkly little rose gold liner right above it. Just kind of wanted to add a little something. And the lashes I'm wearing are the Ardell Wispies. That's all I'm gonna do on the eyes. I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on this palette. So this is the completed look. So my final thoughts are really not a surprise. I think that the performance in the demo that I showed you guys demonstrates exactly why I was so excited to pick this palette up. It is definitely the same consistency and performance as their previous palette, so there wasn't anything that they skimped out on. I just feel that this palette makes it a little bit more versatile in terms of an everyday palette. Like, I could totally see myself digging into this palette even more just based on all the shades that they included. The shades that are included in this palette are typically shades that we would normally run out of or hit pan on most of all our other palettes. Like, for example, we always need a transition color, we always need a brow bone, we always need deep shades like neutral shades to deepen other colors out. It complements so many different skin tones because of the amount of shades they have. For example, they have so many like light shades that can be used on different skin tones. Depending on your skin tone, you will find a brow bone, you will find a crease color that will complement. Also, not only that, but you also have the different shade ranges. For example, you can find a transition color like the grayish tones, 3 different shades if you were trying to do more of a cool tone, gray tone look. You also have an array of like orangey, peachy, and like light brown shades that you could also mix depending on what color you were trying to pull. More brown, more neutral, more orange, more red tone. I mean, there's endless possibilities with this palette. So I can definitely use this on its own, as you can see. I mean, just the quality alone, I've mentioned in my previous video, the Ultimate Artistry palette. I'll link the video up here so that you could check it out if you were also interested in that palette. I've also done a review on it. So I'm only basically repeating myself when it comes to quality. Quality is there effortlessly. It blends out seamlessly with not a lot of techniques. Like I feel this palette is so user friendly, and you don't really need intricate brushes or so many different tools to create this look. Like, I have found that all my other makeup tutorials that I've been uploading as of recently have all included me using the BH fan brushes, only because I want to have like more of a gradient effect on my looks. And I feel like those brushes are specifically for detail work, to make sure that those colors are coming through. And I didn't even pull those brushes out today. So, meaning you don't need to go out and buy all these fancy different brushes. You could just use what you have, and it helps blend you out. If you're a beginner, you can use this palette. If you're a pro, you would love this palette. So I totally recommend it. I think that it is totally worth it, even if at the full price. I don't know how much the full price is, if it's 24. It might be 24. I got it for $20, I believe. BH is always having sales, so you can always get this a lot cheaper than that, but I totally recommend it. I think it's totally worth it. I think that you need to have it in your collection. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this video was helpful, that my review helped you out in making a decision whether or not you wanted to pick up this palette. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you next time.